What is going on, guys? Welcome to Go50, my channel here on YouTube. Make sure y'all like and subscribe, that way I can keep doing this. If y'all already have been watching these videos, you'll know that I have a 2018 Ford F150. It's the Super Cab with the 5.5-foot bed. It comes equipped with a 3rd gen 5.0 and a 10-speed transmission. 10R80 or something like that. I can't remember the exact terminology. I'm a mechanic by trade, and well, I've always been mechanically inclined. I got my ASE certification when I was in my early 20s, put myself through school, started working for Dodge, Chrysler, Plymouth. They had me, by the time I was done there, I was going to school and working as a lube tech at the largest Chrysler dealership in Austin, Texas. And I got finished with my ASE certifications and worked my way up to a 5-star technician at Dodge, Chrysler, Plymouth. And they had me working on they had just come out with the new Hemi, and they were putting it in the Chargers and the Challengers and the pickup trucks, the SRT line. They had me rebuilding the blown up Hemis that got brought in, and sometimes I'd even work on a few Vipers and the Plymouth Prowlers and such like that. Prowler's a really neat car. I believe it's a 3.3 liter V6, and the whole body is actually strapped down to the frame with some like 4-inch nylon straps, if you could believe that. Anyways, we're going back to Ford over here. Over the years, I worked for Mitsubishi, Subaru, Hyundai, even Ford. Then I went off on my own. I kind of took a break from mechanics for a while, went to operating machinery and doing things like that, just because it paid more. But I was always fixing cars on the side, my own cars, other people's cars. Finally, my wife had a really bad accident, and she was bedridden for quite a while. I had to stay home, and I started doing carpentry work, which is another side passion of mine. I'm really good at building furniture and things like that, but around here it just doesn't pay. So I opened up my shop again and got a few odds and ends, used tools and things like that, and I kind of opened up my own shop at my house, because I have a little 2-bay shop there, and we were doing okay, but we were getting bored being at home all the time, because having your shop at your house, you're always home. You're always working on somebody else's stuff. So recently, about 4 or 5 months ago, my wife came up with the idea. She started following these transporters, and they were having issues with they were transporting animals, and there was people that were losing their animals, and animals were dying in transport, things like that. And she's like, we could do a better job than this. And I said, yeah, we could. I was like, I'm bored of being at home. I feel like I'm dying, rotting away at home, and I think that it's time for us to do something else. So we had a 2010 Ford F250 Super Duty, and it had a super chip in it. It was pushing about 140, no, I think we were like around 170,000 miles, if I'm not mistaken. And she ran pretty good. Had a 5.4 liter V8 in it, and you know, if you know anything about 5.4s, you know the 2008 through 2010 are some of the best years for a 5.4. And she served faithfully. She had like a 6-inch lift, sitting on 37-inch tires, 20-inch rims. She was huge, and it just wasn't feasible for us to start running literally all over the country in this truck. So I told her, I was like, we're gonna go shopping for trucks. So I did some research, and I'd already been doing current research, because being a mechanic, you see what comes in and what problems what comes in has. And so I knew I didn't want a Chevy. And the choice was kind of between a Toyota and a third gen 5.0 Ford. Just because I knew the first gens and the second gens, they did have their issues, and the third gen did have an experimental plasma spray and liner, but I really kind of had some faith in it. So I went and test drove a Chevy, and immediately, I like to buy used around, 40 to 60,000 miles, because by then, most of the problems that you're going to have with a new vehicle have already been taken care of. And if you buy it through certain dealerships, you still get a warranty 25, 30,000 miles. So I went and test drove a Chevy. I didn't even test drive the Chevy. I told them to take it back because I was like, did you hear that ticking? I was like, your AFM lifters are already going bad in this truck. It's got, like 80,000, 90,000 miles. It's already going bad. And he's like, well, I don't hear nothing. I'm like, yeah, it's there. I was like, so we ain't gonna do a Chevy. So I went to test drove a Ford, and it was just a little, Toyota, one of the half-ton Toyotas that they have with the V8, and I liked it. It had the roll down, all the way down window, and that was cool, but it just felt like it was a little underpowered. So we went to the Ford dealership, and I test drove two of them. I test drove one, and I really didn't like it because it looked like it'd been kind of tampered with under the hood. There were some things like there was some stuff that you could tell had been moved around recently. So I was like, you know what, I don't trust this one, so let me see the black one, which is the one that I ended up getting. We bought it at 47,000 miles, and I currently have 115,679 miles, and she still runs great. I have really no issues with her. There's a little bit of a dun 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 at idle sometimes, but overall, like, it's been making that same noise since about 50,000 miles. So what are you gonna do? She's tough. Like, I literally do about 80 to a... All right, so here's an example. The other day we were in South Carolina, and it was time to go home. And we live in Port Lavaca, Calhoun County, Texas, which is down close to the tail bottom of Texas, Gulf of Mexico. And this is how I drive. If I look at my Google Maps, it records data on how many miles I've driven for that day. And in 23.4 hours, I drove 1,300 and like something miles. 1,300 miles in less than 24 hours. And it's not the first time I've done something like that. It's pretty regular. This truck really doesn't ever stop. And if I'm rolling, usually we have about almost a 1,300, 1,400 pound payload between me, my wife, my daughter, and whatever gear we're hauling to sustain us while we're out for a week or two at a time. And if I'm empty, I'm rolling fast. I don't slow down for shit. If you see me going through Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, you will literally catch me with the fast pack doing about 100 miles an hour. And I don't care what y'all say about that. I'm an excellent driver. My equipment is 100%, and it's on me if I get pulled over. So, if you got a problem with that, that's all right. I really don't care. So this truck goes, and it'll keep up with the best of them. There ain't another Chevy truck that I've come across that can keep up with me. There ain't another Toyota pickup truck, or even really another Ford that's not of this generation that can keep up with this stock truck. And it is stock. I've done nothing but run slightly undersized tires on it. That helps my gear ratio a little bit. They're good tires, they're grippy tires, and being a precision driver, I do not like to lose traction. So you'll never see me do a burnout hardly. You'll never see me launch it. I try to be easy on the drivetrain. I just drive fast. So like I said, I did my research, and I think I chose well. I see a lot of people with, there's even that guy out there that says everything wrong with the 5.0. Dude, they're noisy. It's a noisy engine, and it's even noisier than before because now you have dual VVT on both their intake and exhaust. You got some long ass chains that are running all those cams, and they make a lot of noise. It's just, there's nothing you can do about it. And that big intake, the throttle body, yeah, it whines a little bit, but you know what? It's just because it's got a huge ass throttle body and it whistles. Chill out. There's too many people out here that are trying to buy cars, and they're going out and buying trucks, and they think it's going to be as quiet as their car is. This is a modular Ford engine that was designed for the Ford Mustang GT. As a slight afterthought, I guess, they've decided they thought it would do good in the pickup truck, and they were right. People say that, it's just underpowered for bottom end. It doesn't have very much, bottom end torque. I don't really have a problem with it on bottom end torque. It pulls just fine. I've pulled 8,000, 10,000 pound trailers through the needles in California more than once. I've crossed over the Rocky Mountains more times than I can count. The only thing that she suffers really in is the higher altitudes. You get her above about 1,000 feet,